TMZ is now officially reporting that the Twitter deal has closed. Elon Musk has acquired Twitter. We've already got photos of him standing at Twitter at The Perch, their little bar, talking to all the employees. Now, we do have some other confirmation. It appears that Twitter will be delisted from the New York Stock Exchange effective Friday after Musk completes the deal. I have no idea what that means for the tiny amount of stock that I have in the company, 22 shares, I think. Are they going to like mail me a check or something? I have no idea. Elon, I want my money. Actually, I wouldn't mind if they kept it. I don't care, I mean, like if I got to keep a small, tiny percentage of the company when it went private. But they're saying outright that the deal is done. Now, Elon Musk issued a statement to advertisers saying that he's going to make sure it is the most respectful place for advertisers. It's warm and welcoming. He's responded to Zuby when stating that you need to find a way to monetize for the most active users. And that's true because, look, I post a bunch of garbled nonsense. I get hundreds of thousands of views on my tweets and I get nothing for it. So you need to figure that one out, Elon. That's a fair point. People might actually start taking the platform seriously if it's a part of their business. Right now, to me, Twitter is mostly a joke. That's why I tweeted that Elon should make a new verification badge, except it just verifies that you're a fascist and the badge is red. That's what I use Twitter for. But here's the news, and then we're going to go through all of the tweets. And yes, my friends, the leftists breakdown. Everyone's apparently jumping ship to Tribal Social. Well, a handful of people. So I signed up to check it out. And I posted one thing. I was like, y'all are in a cult. Because they have an algorithm that bans news they don't like. They call it fake news, but it's like literally banning like a video of the Pfizer executive talking about transmission of vaccine and stuff like that. So here's the story from TMZ. Elon Musk is officially Twitter's new daddy. At least according to Elon Musk, who says he hopes the platform will continue to be a digital town square for years to come. The Tesla SpaceX boss explained his reason for the $44 billion purchase Thursday, saying there is currently great danger that social media will splinter into far right-wing and far left-wing echo chambers that generate more hate and divide in our society. He continues, in the relentless pursuit of clicks, much of traditional media has fueled and catered to those polarized extremes, as they believe that is what brings in the money. But in doing so, the opportunity for dialogue is lost. He says, this is why I bought Twitter. I didn't do it because it would be easy. I didn't do it to make more money. I did it to try to help humanity, whom I love. And I do so with humility, recognizing that failure in pursuing this goal, despite our best efforts, is a very real possibility. A very real possibility, a very high probability, good sir. You see, Elon, come on, let's have a conversation, buddy. I would like to have a conversation with you a lot about social media. I would love... And obviously it would be great for me, but I would love to do a sit down with Joe Rogan and Elon Musk as a follow up to the Twitter show that we did several years ago. And, Elon doesn't have a reason to do it. Joe's already had the biggest show in the world. It would be better for me, but I do think it would be fruitful because I think Elon needs to understand something. I have been, Elon's been a tech guy for a long time. He's been in computers probably longer than I have because he's older than me. But I've been on the internet since like early 90s, late. My family had a DOS computer with CompuServe back in like, the late 80s or whatever. And we had CompuServe, we had AOL, we had Web TV. We were very tech savvy. I built my first computer when I was like, how old was I? I was probably 8 or 9, maybe 9 years old. I think was when I built my first computer. So I've been working with computer stuff, but I'm not like a programmer or anything. I did used to make video games. I used to program video games and websites and things like that. But here's the issue with the far right-wing and left-wing echo chambers that Elon Musk is hoping to avoid. You can't. You can't do it. And I'll tell you why. What's happened with social media is a natural progression of technology and the human psyche, and I don't see it panning out in any other way. So let me explain. Systems have been built. You could tear them down. I mean, maybe that's what needs to happen. That's why I often joke about just outright pressing off on Twitter. Here's something you can do, Elon. Turn Twitter off, except for like 1 hour every day or something. But no, here's my point. You can't stop the bifurcation. When Facebook first emerged, it was a natural development of what the internet was. And, if you look back now, it seems kind of obvious this thing would have happened. You had chat rooms. People had email lists. There were bulletin board systems. People were seeking ways to be social on the internet. I mean, it's basically the point, right? Excuse me. Eventually, you end up with things like uJournal and LiveJournal and precursors to social media, like the bulletin board systems, BBS. Eventually, you get Friendster. And I remember Friendster. Everyone's like, oh, sign up. You got pictures of your profile, whatever. And then everyone said, no, MySpace is better. And then we were like, I guess I'll sign up for MySpace. And we were like bouncing around. And then you end up with Facebook. And then eventually everyone migrates to Facebook. Facebook holds out for a long time, becomes the dominant platform for a while now. Facebook is trying to figure out how to make you stay on the platform longer. Obviously they would, right? So what happens is they say, in the early days, people had like 300 friends. They would friend people, and it's like between 100 and 300 people. When someone posts something, it's reverse chronological order. You see what your friends are posting. Eventually, however, people start making pages. Not just, Facebook says it's not just about people. It's about, things you might like, bands. Now people are clicking like. Now their feed is littered with garbage. And so people stop using the platform or they slow down. So Facebook says we need to find a way to maximize the use of this platform. So they create the algorithm. The algorithm says what people interact with the most, we want them to see the most. So they stay on the platform longer. A natural thing to do for any business that's trying to maximize its ad revenue. Obviously, with the videos I make, it is beneficial, I should say, that I make 20-minute to 30-minute segments and host a 2.5-hour show because people stay on the platform longer and it generates more ad revenue. That's not for me on purpose. It's just I fall into that position. Some people like Seamus, Freedom Tunes. He makes 30-second to 2-minute videos, sometimes longer. It's harder to monetize. So there's a monetary benefit for content like the content I make. Eventually, what ends up happening with this algorithm is that social justice issues, or I should say justice issues, becomes prominent. Police brutality becomes the dominant platform. The dominant content. For a while, it was like Ron Paul stuff because the Ron Paul love revolution back in 2008 or whatever. And then eventually, like Mike.com is a great example, they changed to social justice. Why? What was getting the most shares was social justice content. This instantly creates a bifurcation. Those who are hyper online are inundated with social justice, and those in rural areas that are online less or were are not. Society fractures. Take a look at Twitter now. There's no solving this problem, dude. I don't see Twitter as being a solution to the problem. Already the left is fleeing to tribal social. You've got Parler, you've got Truth, you've got Gab. Twitter may be a central hub in whatever the social media ecosystem is, but I don't see you solving this problem. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, okay? I would assume, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't see a path away from two fractured cultures that believe fundamentally different things. Twitter's whole ecosystem was stopping real information that made the left look bad, banning conservatives for the most part. Some of the left do get banned, don't get me wrong. But what do, Elon? If you now course correct and allow Alex Jones and Trump back on the platform and Laura Loomer and Milo Yiannopoulos, etc., advertisers are going to complain, you're going to lose money, and then the left is going to complain, and that's it. Perhaps a membership model is the right way to go about it. That, you encourage people to pay for Twitter Blue, which is one thing they've been doing. Maybe. I think Elon's a smart guy. I think he can figure out a lot of things. Maybe there's a way to make Twitter function, but I don't know how you solve the problem of the culture crisis. Now, Seeking Alpha says Twitter is suspended from the New York Stock Exchange effective Friday, which means the deal is happening. But we got a bunch of stuff to go through. And we'll start with this photo. You can see Elon Musk is here and he's talking. Look at that face. AP for Liberty says, you're fired. Jason Rink posted that face when a literal fascist becomes your CEO. Dude, Elon Musk is not a fascist, but boy, is there a lot going on. So this is the letter that Elon Musk posted today to advertisers, saying you want to reach out personally to share his motivation for acquiring Twitter. Okay, dude, look, I just got to say, nice try. I can respect it. I just don't see it as being a reality that advertisers are going to play this game. Elon, the culture war runs deep. These advertising agencies as I've already tracked this years ago. This is 2018. I'm reporting on this. Advertising agencies overlap with Democratic voters on Twitter. Why? Big ad agencies are probably in New York and they believe this stuff. Let me see if I can find this tweet. I got so much stuff pulled up. Here's Stephanie Guevara on Twitter saying, "Hey, Elon Musk, thanks for visiting Twitter. Hope you enjoyed your coffee at the Perch. Just one question. Was it fun to look at the faces of the people you said you'd be laying off? Ha, 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 ha." Let me see if I can find this tweet. Here we go. Libs of TikTok with, "This is a day in the life of a Twitter employee. No wonder Elon Musk is firing 75% of them." Let me play this video for you. But first, let me just tell you that Elon Musk is not going to be laying people off. He's backtracking on his vow to cull 75% of people. So here's the video.
Welcome to a day in my life as a Twitter employee. So this past week, went to SF for the first time at a Twitter office, badged in. Honestly, took a moment to just soak everything in. What a blessing. Also started my morning off with an iced matcha from the Perch. Then I had a meeting, so quickly scheduled one of these little pod rooms, which were so cool. They're literally noise canceling. Took my meeting, got ready for lunch. Look how delicious this food looks. Oh my goodness, I was so overwhelmed. Then made my way down to this log cabin area. I don't know what this is, but it was really cool. Played some foosball with my friends to kind of unwind a bit. Also found this really cool meditation room that I thought was super neat. I didn't do any yoga, but they have this yoga room if you are a yogi. So also that was really cool. Had a couple more meetings in the afternoon, had a ton of projects that we needed to knock out. Say hi to my teammates. Went to the library to kind of get some more work done. Obviously had to have our afternoon coffee, so made some espresso. And then before leaving for the day, had some red wine that's on tap. Went up to the rooftop and just honestly enjoyed the beautiful weather. So awesome trip.
That's a day in the life of a Twitter employee. I'm not surprised by the video because I've been to Silicon Valley offices. I've been to Google offices. I worked for New York media. But I know that in the heart of this country, there are many people who do real labor. I am a firm believer that if middle America, if the working class actually knew what it was like in Silicon Valley and New York media, there would be a revolution overnight. I talk about it all the time. These woke leftists, they don't even come into work. For that matter, I'll also point out, even here at Timcast, there's a lot of downtime. And it's kind of a silly place to work. Just skate in the middle of the day and stuff like that. This is how things go in media. You see, there's a lot of money in these industries. Now, that's why I am grateful and I respect people who do real work. I think it's fascinating. And you know what? Let's just point it all right here, right back at Timcast. I complain in front of a camera every day and I make a lot of money. It's always been crazy to me. I mean, doesn't mean I wouldn't want to do it or whatever, but it is crazy. This is what it's like working at Twitter. I assure you, the majority of staff at Twitter probably do nothing, and we've already seen it in Project Veritas's leak, where you end up with that guy saying, "I work like 4 hours a week." That's not wrong. That's what it is. While you are lifting bricks and boxes and doing construction and sweating and wiping the sweat from your brow to come home, make 40, 50K a year, they're getting six figures for all that. That's right. That's the way the machine works. I think I'm surprised people, like I said, if the working class knew this is how things were, it'd be a revolt overnight. These people don't work. I wouldn't wish this upon my kids, future kids. I wouldn't wish this upon anybody to live in such a vapid and ridiculous and disgusting way. But more importantly, this woman, everything she does, she's the one who is banning you. I don't mean literally her. I mean, it is people like this that are the ones deciding, "You're saying mean words, so I'm going to make it so you can't participate in democracy anymore." Boop. I love how they're like, "We have to protect democracy." And then you're like, "I'd like to say some words." And they're like, "Not you, white man." Yeah. Okay. I hope Elon fires them all, but here we go. Look at this picture. Elon bros are killing us with free speech. from IQFY. And there's a picture of Hitler along with Elon Musk and a noose. These are the people that are trying to suspend you on Twitter. Elon, you better fix this. Otherwise, I gotta be honest, I really don't care about Twitter. And if Elon doesn't fix it, I would love to see the whole thing just go. I've been on Twitter since 2009. And I used it a little bit before then, just like seeing tweets and stuff, but didn't really. And then I signed up, I think like my birthday or something in 2009, like March. Quote, I want to be cruel, but the mods won't let me, is their best argument for free speech because it's about something far more sinister. It's amazing. These people think everything is cruel except themselves, and they're very cruel. They're psychotic. They have snowplow parents, and they are permanent children. Jeff Jarvis. How's it going, Jeff? He says, today on Twitter feels like the last evening in a Berlin nightclub at the twilight of Weimar, Germany. Jeff, you're such a sophist. I know Jeff Jarvis. I've had several meetings with him. He's a journalism professor in New York. And I remember I was at VidCon. I got really mad. They had a journalism panel, but it was all Democrat activists. And then I was getting really angry, and I was shaking my head the whole time. And then Jeff Jarvis was on it, and I was like, you didn't get a single independent or conservative. You got a bunch of Democrat activists and feigned that they were journalists. And he's like, well, they don't want to, they refuse to come on. And I'm like, that's BS. Ben Shapiro screams debate me all night. These people are liars. Duck Respecter tweeted, moment Elon is in, I'm going on a misgendering spree, the scale of which will one day have its own Wikipedia page. That's an excellent tweet, by the way. Emery says, when that happens, we need to coordinate all networks so everyone can join in the fun. You see, these people think they're invincible. They think their way of life is the only way of life and that you should not be allowed to have opinions they don't like. And that is not cruel. That's being nice. So if you say something like, I am but a humble plumber who does not take kindly to this woman who does nothing all day and sips her fancy red wine and I'm breaking my back, they go, that's hate speech. They ban you. This is what happens when you let children run the machine. And that's what happens with the millennial generation and many Gen Zers. Permanent children. And you know whose fault it is? It's Gen X and and millennials. I'm sorry, it's Gen X and boomers. And millennials too, obviously. But the boomers had kids, and many of the boomers, not all of them, I'm not blaming every single one of you boomers, I know. I'm saying these liberal boomer types raised a bunch of whiny, entitled brats with participation trophies. I remember when I was little, they were doing like a trivia thing. And no matter how many times I raised my hand, teacher wouldn't call on me. Well, the reason was, that's why one of the reasons I hated school. My mom homeschooled me and my brother when we were very little. And so we were much more advanced than the rest of the kids. And that meant we knew the answers to all the questions. These are rudimentary questions, mind you, like 4 + 5 or something. And we knew all the answers. We were good at math. And so eventually they said, you don't get to participate. And that sucked. I'm like, because I'm better at this than them, I don't get a chance to earn a prize. So I remember there was some trivia thing, some quiz for little kids. And teacher would never call on me. And I didn't know why. I said, my hand was always up first. And it was like a parents' night thing or something. And then afterwards, I started crying because I think I was like 7 years old. And the teacher came over and just handed me a free prize. And I didn't want it. I was like, I didn't want the prize. I wanted to say the right answer for you, but you wouldn't let me. The reality was they knew I knew the right answer and they wanted to give other kids a chance to answer because I always had the right answer. That's what I really hated about the whole system. So hard work and you don't get to engage. So you know what I said? I grew up and I realized then you don't have to rely on them. You don't have to think about them. You can just do you and succeed on your own. Proving to someone else that you knew the answer was a waste of time. These kids, they've never experienced that. So they're screaming. They're crying. They're barfing on themselves. It is apocalyptic for them. Oh, they're so sad. I want to behave like an absolute rat bastard. So what? Welcome to the real world. Have you ever gone outside in New York City? Maybe you would have seen someone get pushed onto the subway tracks. Certainly no one is advocating for that. We're advocating for the right to say words we think. But these people are so pathetic. Whiny babies. that they cannot handle you disagreeing with them. A free speech is a dog whistle. Free speech activists then turn around and call for the purging from schools of books about sexuality. No, they're calling for the purging of schools' books depicting sexual things. There's one book that they're trying to get pulled, literally shows someone, a male, doing things to themselves in an inappropriate way. And they call that book banning because, well, they're probably pedophiles, to be completely honest. And they're using it. So you know what? This is why the Democrats deserve to lose. This is why they deserve to have Elon come in. But, Elon's backtracking now. We'll see what he actually gets done. I want to see Alex Jones, Elon, reinstate Veritas right now. Here's what you can do. And I hope everybody who listens to this far into the video can say this. Go on Twitter, tweet at Elon Musk, every single person, and say, reinstate James O'Keefe and Project Veritas, step 1. No questions, no waiting, do it. Intervene personally. The suspension of Veritas was complete BS, and everyone knows it. Now, we can talk about Trump, we can talk about Jones, we can talk about Carl Benjamin, Milo, Laura Loomer. I get it. They made rules and then said you broke them and it was nebulous. Yeah, I get it. But Project Veritas is a news organization that did not break any rules. So, Elon Musk, reinstate James O'Keefe with an apology on behalf of Twitter and say now that Twitter is under your leadership, things like this will not happen. Everyone tweet at Elon and tell him to reinstate Project Veritas. He should not wait a second. It should be the first thing he does because he can say it with a word. He can say it. He can put out an email and say, I don't know who's in charge of it, but unban James O'Keefe and Project Veritas and their employees now. Do it. Let's see if you can do it. I'll leave it there. Next segment is coming up at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/Timcast. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.